with this pack, I wouldn't say this is completely fully loaded right now, and obviously you can always attach something like I did there, but it's pretty full. And normally the only thing that I would have on here that I don't right now, the only things would be normally in this portion right up here, I tuck away my shooting mat in between here, so it's exterior and it doesn't get everything messy, because sometimes I'm in mud and nasty stuff. And I carry the NC Star or Vism, whatever company you choose to affiliate with, the Vism shooting mat. It's kind of a big, bulky, heavy shooting mat, but it's also really padded, and I really like it for the terrain that I shoot on. And I didn't have 50 bucks or 100 bucks for a very expensive thin shooting mat, so that's what I spent money on. And it fits really well. Streamlined on this pack, it doesn't throw the weight off or anything like that. That usually goes here, and usually I also carry a shepherd's hook for my steel targets. And typically, if I'm going to be hiking with a pack like this, I'm not shooting on paper. I might bring a paper roll with me and tuck it in a sleeve, but usually it's just going to be shooting steel. And so that's primarily what you see here, is a pack that I hike out with some steel. I'll show you what I carry for a target later. So let's open up the pack. We'll find out all the contents that I can fit inside. So let's start off with the rifle. So right now I have a shorty rifle in there, and that's not because I have to. That's literally just because I thought this pack would fit really well with this rifle, or this rifle with this pack rather. And it's a newer rifle to me, and so I wanted to try it out and just kind of run the pack together with it. The weight balance is amazing. This is an 8-pound rifle as it sits right now. Kind of heavy for a little 22. It's a varmint barrel in the 455, and there's a review coming up on that. But anyways, 8 pounds, right close to my back. I got all these big turret knobs and just a huge portion. And honestly, this pack does not fit AR style weapons very well with big optics and a magazine. You're gonna have to take that magazine off for AR optics, and maybe I'll show in some clips of that later. But with this, I have a red dot on top of a scope and the rifle, and you know what? The lug here for my bipod has to be bare. I really can't have my bipod on there because these feet grab pretty hard on the X1. I'll show you that sleeve later. It just really doesn't fit well with the bipod on there. So I take the bipod off, I put the rifle in, and to me that's not such a big deal. There are packs that are definitely more tactical looking, and they kind of scream tactical, you know. And those ones have a bigger sleeve for your AR style rifles, so don't expect that this is going to fit really, really big optics on an AR with a magazine. It just doesn't. Typically it stops right at the pistol grip when you're putting in an AR in that sleeve. Again, I'll show you that later, but this rifle fits really well. In fact, I could sink this whole rifle down if I wanted to, because on this sleeve there's a portion down here. I'll lift this up, where actually I can fit my 26-inch Savage FV all the way secured in this backpack if I extend out this piece here. And it also gives you a little breathing room in these pockets in here if you have this extended with the tail out. And so if I throw this CZ in there and I slide that down, this whole thing becomes pretty streamlined right against my back, and it's not intrusive. This doesn't bother me against my legs when I'm walking, from what I can tell so far. But if I tuck it in, then I can also set the pack down relatively easy. With such a short barreled rifle, it's just really convenient. So the sleeve works for me. It's not perfect, but I make it work. I don't have a lot of complaints. On the exterior, I just have like a climbing hook, a couple of one tie zip ties, those rubber zip ties, and an Allen key and stuff like that. I'm not looking to make the rifle pack really heavy, honestly. I don't like that. In the first pouch, I have a wrapped up full body poncho. It's winter. I'm not sure that I really need a full body poncho, but I have it. And then I have a shemagh, and I'm not one of these tactical wizards who's always wearing a shemagh, but it actually does come in really useful if it's really sunny out. Sun's right in my eyes. If I can't seem to negotiate my hat the right way, this comes in really useful. And sometimes when it's been bitterly cold, I need something around my neck. So I'll carry that. This pocket, let's see, make sure we're fully zipped here. this pocket allows me to get an arm, you know, almost down to the elbow inside. It's relatively deep, and it kind of expands off of the main pack itself. I don't feel like it takes away too much from the main pack inside of this pocket. And so again, I'm going to be showing you different angles of these pockets. I'm just showing you what I had inside right now. So in the main compartment here, it's a pretty much all the way open zip, and there's a shelf inside that you can use or you don't have to use. I use it, and I keep inside an ammo box, and inside my ammo box I have my shooting bag, which is a little bit heavy for a shooting bag, and I want that weight close and high. So shooting bag, I have a shot timer, which people get kind of thrown off. If you're shooting precision rifle on steel, you might occasionally want to challenge yourself for a timing of how many times you can engage that target within a set period of time, or how long it takes you to engage it, you know, 4 or 5 times. So a shot timer, and I've already shown you that before. And then my ammo, so today Aguila Subsonic, some other stuff. So I packed that in there, and it sits perfectly. This size ammo box, by the way, fits just perfectly inside of here. Zips up around it, and again, there's a shelf inside. You're gonna have your clip here if you want to run hydro. I don't care to run that kind of stuff. It usually just kind of bothers me. And this shelf is velcroed in, and so underneath, I suppose I'll show you this pocket. This kind of administrative pocket. I have a wallet, a heat pack, my ID, and I have a rat's tourniquet in orange because I kind of like orange. So rats. Nothing inside this one. This is a fairly generous size one. This side zipping pocket is a fairly generous size right in here. It's actually this full size here inside. It's not a huge opening, but it's big enough for like my bipod and some personal items. So again, inside of here, this is this area. That's how big that pocket is, and it expands off from the pack. It's not really taking up space inside that main compartment. It's kind of its own expansion. And the next kind of primary unit here is a generous size. I keep my ears inside, some shooting gloves, kind of more just fall gloves, and then I do keep my steel target in here. And this is a long range target. You'll think it's a really big target to carry around, and it is. Just a second. So I carry a steel target in here in foam because I don't want it to rip up my backpack. And there's nothing else in there. I could fit a little bit more, but I carry a 1/3 size, maybe it might be slightly smaller now that I think about it. Slightly smaller than 1/3 size IDPA target. And this is a really, really great long range target. It's still enough to be a challenge at, you know, great distances, and at close distances, pretty easy, but it's just what I like to carry around. It's only 1/4 inch steel. I don't really need super thick steel if we're shooting longer ranges, and it also has a better ring to it. It's a very high pitched ring, especially if I'm not holding onto it. And like I said, I usually carry a shepherd's hook with this that fits through this notch, and all this fits in the pack really nicely. Moving on, you have your side pouch, which is huge. You can fit a good sized water bottle in here. It does have retainers or tightening facets here. Lots of facets all over the backpack for tightening, strapping things down. I've added a couple packs, just like I have an IFAK in here, and the IFAK is, you know, just short of full blowout. And then inside here is your other water bottle holder, and they fit quite a bit of gear inside these water bottle holders. And lastly, you have your front of your back piece of the pack here. This mesh is phenomenal. I think there are, you know, $400 or $500 packs that even are better than this, but I would not know the difference very much myself, because to me this is insanely comfortable when I load this pack up full of heavy things. And so I'm super happy with the support that I see in this pack. The shoulder straps, although they could be thicker, it hasn't bothered me with a good amount of gear and hiking just a couple miles. So I don't know, maybe 15 miles, something like that, it'd start to bother me, but I'm never gonna do that. So anyways, moving on, it's adjustable. I don't know who is this small and who would actually wear this backpack. I'm 6'5", I have it on the top rung, and it's exactly where I need it to be. If I was any taller, I would say this pack, it'd be just a little less than ideal. I would go for one of their bigger packs, and Eberlestock definitely has bigger packs. So this one, kind of like that medium-sized pack. You can look up the specs online if you want weight and size dimensions, but I'll tell you, the build quality of the pack is phenomenal. And I don't know if I went over this. This just has some more range essentials, food, you know, phone pocket, a knife, tarp, some wind flags. And that I could fit it in the backpack, but it's stuff that I seem to grab a lot when the pack is on me, so I want it up in the front. The MOLLE is fantastic. There's a good rigidness to these hip straps. They actually function, they do what they're supposed to. On these hip straps, a lot of them are just so flimsy that you would not have trouble doing what I'm doing now, and this has got some firmness to it. I really appreciate that. The suede kind of feel on this pack is a little unique. This is a little less tactical than a lot of people are into. It still has MOLLE, and it's kind of the more high-speed MOLLE. A little lighter weight, they say. I don't really care. I just wanted a pack that wasn't insanely heavy, could haul, all the kind of things I like to carry around. And so far, this pack is doing really well. And so now I'll just show you a little bit closer up of those internal compartments.